position a lot of schools are. I don't think anybody's really ready as it relates to how they have processed or progressed in the past. But I think most of us are in the same situation. Those schools who maybe had transfers that practiced with them all last year and had some guys redshirted and have veterans coming back, I think they're going to probably be a little farther along than a lot of programs. But this is a new normal that we're dealing with, as specifically as it relates to our team. Very seldom have we had situations where we have 4 guys that we need to be a little more ready than they normally would have had to have been this early in the season. Most time we've had a couple exhibition games. We've had a couple tune-up games. Had a little longer. Had some summer work that we didn't have. Some more individual time that maybe we would normally have had. So we've void of all of that. And the familiarity of just being confident because you have had enough reps for those things that we're trying to teach to become habit has been a void. So as a coach, I had to be more patient, more understanding, and we probably have to make some adjustments as we go. When Devin was a freshman, I think he might have been the only guy we had that was new. Last year, Dominique was a fifth-year guy, a little more older, more matured. So in reality, Evans came in and he injured himself for 7 weeks. He missed practice, but Polite had been around a little bit, so he kind of subbed in a little bit as a point guard. We kind of got by, and Devin had Evans had a chance to progress kind of at his own pace. And then once he got in stride later on in the year, he was more of an integral part of what we were doing. Patrick was really basically the only real new guy that was new to this, and he had an exceptional, matured approach. He didn't put pressure on himself other than a couple of errors. He wanted to become better defenders and wanted to make sure he was playing hard all the time. He was confident that offensively he could make contributions, and so he was a little more emotionally ready. I think it helped the fact that his mother, I think, played college basketball, and his daddy played basketball, so he'd been around it a little more. But this is different with us. We need these guys to jump out of the frying pan right into the fire. And but I think they've worked awful hard. I like this group. I think that our culture is strong, and we hold each other accountable. But time spent, familiarity because of the reps, void. I expect a few miscues, but the good thing is that everyone else is going through basically the same thing.
Start with a question from Chris Nee, please.
Hey, Coach. Health-wise, are you guys in pretty good shape entering the first game?
Well, now, if we were not 100%, I wouldn't say. I will tell you. There's one thing I always avoid talking about is health, and because you always, you never know. Generally speaking, I must say, I think we don't have anyone who's going to be affected at this point. We don't have COVID, and everybody's going to be available to play.
The follow-up, Chris?
I'm good.
Aslan? Austin from Tomahawk Nation.
Hey, Coach. How you doing? I'm doing good. I was just going to ask, I mean, how challenging has it been to make up for lost time in the summer where y'all can't do in the off season the programs that you want to do to the extent that you want to do them? And what have you done recently, the last few weeks, to try and make up for that lost time?
Well, yeah, I think most of you guys know me. I don't try to worry about that which I can't control. I think I say it all the time. It's what it is. You know, kids can't learn any faster than what they normally learn. The good news is that we have some veterans returning. I actually have 4 walk-ons that are graduate students. We have 4 juniors that are fourth-year juniors, been redshirted. I got 3 freshmen, maybe 4 freshmen. 4 seniors with Tanar, but I have 3 that have been around for a little bit. 2 of them are junior college players along with. So we have some experience. My point earlier, though, we have our 4 new guys need to be a little more integrated in our system and a little more efficient than what we normally had, situations we normally have been in. That's the difference. Normally we've had new players, but they didn't have to be prepared to make contributions. Quincy is a freshman, not very experienced. Tanoy was played at a much lower level competition for 3 years. And this is a whole new world for him, even though he's older and he's played, but not at the level that we play. He's 7'2", but I'm not very sure, seriously, if he ever had to go up against anybody in practice as big and strong as the kids he's going against every day. So it's a big adjustment for him. Secondly, just learning a new system at a higher level has been a little more. Scottie's probably a little farther along because he went to Mount Verde, played it. Did they win the national title last year? Mount Verde did?
I think they did.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm saying he's had a different journey than the other guys. So that's my point. So somebody said it's what it is. You know, we just got to deal with it. You know, you can't go in another pace, and it's been a lot of stopping and starting and teaching and correcting. And then you have Calhoun, who's as talented as anybody who we've had in our program, but he's making the adjustment where it's a little bit challenging for him as well. But I have no doubt that I'm just going to live with some mistakes these guys are going to make, as long as they're giving me good effort. We got to play through them. I'm hoping that we can win games while we, are learning and growing and gelling.
Follow-up question, Austin?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you, though. Thanks, Coach.
Antoine from the Democrat, what do you got?
I talked to MJ Walker a couple of weeks ago, and he talked about how you were having meals catered to the players' houses during this COVID pandemic. So just talk about that and maybe some of the other things that you've done or to kind of help the players stay safe during this tough time.
They live off campus in apartments, and so they have to pay for their breakfast with the money that's provided to them for their scholarships. You know, so really, it's a lot easier to arrange for them to have the breakfast in the apartments where they are in. That's it really costs the same. So we just arrange for it. It's still coming out of their food allowance, but we just organize it where instead of them having to go out and to different places, we have it all brought to them. I mean, I think we're doing everything within the rules and regulations to make sure that we stay as safe as possible. I think the guys respond to that pretty good.
Good. Bob Ferrante?
Coach, I'm curious, have you guys done more intra-squad games of late just to kind of see what you can do because you can't play exhibitions? You couldn't play Friday. Has that kind of helped?
We've had one. Well, no, we do parts of our practice every day is some level of scrimmages. But it's been very difficult to assimilate how we have to play in terms of the rotation, who can play 4 minutes without fatigue and who can play 5, who can play 3, because just to refresh your memory, we're trying to score in 6 seconds. If we don't have it, we moving the ball. We cutting, we moving the ball, and we moving our bodies. We don't stand around. And so let me break it down a little more. If you run a lot of sets, you call the play, you look at the coach, call the play, this guy goes to the left, that guy goes to the right, and they throw it and they take a shot. Well, that's not our system. We're moving, we're passing and moving, creating challenges for the defense. So that's a little more taxing on our bodies and on your conditioning level to be pushing it, trying to score. If you don't have a bucket in the early part of the offense, you move around and take advantage of what the defense gives you. And on the defensive end, I think you guys know we pick up 94 feet. If you watch some teams play, this team scores, they walk back and they wait to the top of the key and they pick up. That team scores, and that's not the way we play. So the way we play is a little more different, it's a little more challenging. So not having the opportunity to see what that's like in some exhibition games, along with your scrimmages, is it puts us in a little bit of some kind of situation because we haven't had a chance to work our way through those kinks. We had a little exercise yesterday where we were going like 2 teams going nonstop for a minute and a half. After we did a couple of rounds of that, because it was pressure, scoring, it was really, really up tempo and fast pace. Then after a couple of rounds of those, I could see where our kids were breathing a little heavy. Now you normally work those things out. That was kind of, with both teams going at that pace, it's a little challenging. You said, well, they only went for a couple of minutes. Well, that's not, at least you got some stoppage when you're having a game of free throw, the ball goes out of bounds. It's not like back and forth for a full minute and a half or 2 minutes. And those are the things that we're going to have to adjust to on the fly. I'm just hoping that everybody else is having the same level of adjustments that we have. But it's a lot easier if you're doing a walk down offense and you come back and you're playing zone defense, picking everybody up at the top of the key. It doesn't expire you as much as what we do. So it's just some challenges that we got to go through, and I'm just hoping that everybody else is making adjustments along with us, and hopefully we make our adjustment better than the other people. And for instance, North Florida, they would have 2 or 3 games, 3 games under their belt, before we play. Well, not having Gardner Webb, not having it kind of compounds you. They would have 3 games, and this is our first game. So they've went through a transition period where I'm sure they're making a little more. They are making those adjustments along, and we're gonna make ours. And then I'm not gonna talk about the next game, the next 3 or 4 games. The term of jumping out of the frying pan into the fire is just what that is. But what is it? What it is it's what it is.
Go to Kurt Weiler.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering, we saw it with the women's team today where they lost a game yesterday and today it got announced that now they're playing it tomorrow night. Just how tough is it just to be so fluid with the scheduling, with all those things when everything just changes seemingly daily?
Well, Kurt, we always try to prepare our guys for the unexpected. These are new times we're dealing with. And if these are the challenges that we have to make, if these are the only challenges we got to make is be flexible and fluid and making those adjustments. If that's the most challenging thing about going through this period that we're dealing with, we're gonna be just fine. I mean, this is what we have to deal with, and main thing we got to do is just try to stay safe. You know, during this unprecedented time and dealing with stuff that you never had to deal with before. You know, these like I say, adjustments you have to make on the fly, but you got to make them with caution. And it's not easy for anybody, but that's the world we live in right now. We just got to hope and pray that we get us a vaccine and that it's working and no one's adversely affected by it as well.
Go to Corey Clark.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Get ready, Leonard. Hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, by the way, man.
Have you been to my restaurant in Atlanta? That's all I want to know.
No, not yet. I've been to Mary Mac's now, but I haven't been there in a while.
Well, let me know when you go back so I can tell you what to order, okay?
Okay, I will, man.
I know the menu by heart.
Yeah. Okay, good. Well, I want to ask you about Calhoun. You said he's one of the more talented players you've ever had through the program. Is it something where you can't simulate what a basketball season is going to be until it starts? Like, how is he adjusted to the Florida State practice? And when will you know if the adjustment, like, is it just going to be a work in progress with all these new guys, but maybe especially somebody like Calhoun?
Well, I'm going to be as patient. He's not going to be on a short leash because I see the potential there. His teammates see the potential there. And whatever period, however long it takes him to adjust, that's what it's going to be. You know, he has an exceptional athleticism, quickness, and speed, and ability to score. And I've been around guys like him before that, they've been able to be successful because of their exceptional athleticism and quickness and speed and his ability to score. At this level, you probably got to do things a little differently to be as effective as he's been, because of his athleticism and his talent. So, not that I'm trying to make anything a little easier, but I expect all four of those guys to not be as efficient as I would like for them to be this early in the season. And he would be no exception. I got to have that same level of patience with Noles, because he really didn't get cleared until late into the practice session. Quincy is just learning, and that's the nature of what we're dealing with. So I'm going to have to be a little patient with all four of those guys, as well as Scottie, to give them a chance to play through some of the mistakes they would have had an opportunity to make with exhibition games and some of the games maybe that, maybe we could make fewer mistakes on, but we don't have that luxury now. So I expect them still to be going through an adjustment period. I'm just hoping that, and then with the ACC tournament game, with ACC regular season games thrown in here, I think I got two in December, whereas it's not like I'm waiting till January, so these guys don't have a whole lot of time to get ready. So we just gonna have to make the adjustments, and I'm sure that's the new normal that we all are dealing with as coaches this particular year.
And I wanted to just follow up real quick about Scottie. Watching him in high school, he was such a leader. Just his personality would take over games. Has that manifested itself even as a freshman on a team with a bunch of veterans that have won a ton of games in college? Does that personality still kind of resonate and take over in a practice as a freshman?
Well, I don't know if the word is take over. The word is if you ask me if he is enthusiastic, is he confident, is he enjoying himself, is he encouraging of his teammates, is he talkative, then yes.
He's not shy by any means.
No, and I think he's by nature has a high motor. He's and we've had guys like him and Rodas and Tony Douglas and Michael Snare, guys who just Xavier Mays, guys who play with a lot of energy. Tim Pickett, those guys, that's their personality, that's their way of contributing. And so he brings that level of energy to our practices, and hopefully he will display that same level of energy in games.
Go to Dom from WTXL.
Hey, Coach, thank you for your time. Just wanted to ask, with this veteran group that you've been talking a lot about, is there a high sense of urgency that you're picking up on for them to, kind of just get back out Wednesday night and just pick up where they left off, and then, kind of an abrupt end to last season?
Well, I don't know if there's a high sense of urgency. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily associate that with pressure, but I do think that, Dom, that it's important that our veterans lead by example, be a little more efficient to make sure that we make up for any miscues that we expect our new players that will make. We expect them to go through those adjustment periods. I think that our culture is one where we're always working together, believing we 18 strong, we win games by committee. I think these guys are practicing with that level of focus. Obviously, things have changed a little bit in terms of how we
I didn't see that yet.
treat with each other and practicing. And
Give me an honest opinion on that.
all of the above. Dom, I want you to know these guys, they're disappointed they can't see you. You got your camera off. We want to make sure you got your hair done well. We don't want you to, we want to feel like we all did our nails and arched our eyebrows, and we did a good job with our makeup, but you hiding from us. I want you to know that.
I'm sorry, Coach.
No, I'm good. No, we're fine. I'm just teasing. We don't have to see you.
It's all good. Yesterday was game day. I've got a bunch of Buffalo Bill banners in the back here. I'm not trying to, upset any Dolphins fans in the chat. So
No, I'm just kidding you, buddy. We don't have to see you.
We got any more questions for Coach? Perry from Tomahawk, what do you got for me?
I'm sorry you have to see me. I should have turned my camera off. But you mentioned the into the frying pan or whatever. I'm going to mess up the expression no matter what. But you start off with 4 or 5 home games at the start of the season. Does that help that adjustment, or do you think that maybe makes them too comfortable? Like, I'm sure in your career you've had an opening stretch. You've had that many games at home. So has that kind of ever affected a team in that way?
Well, I think you have been around basketball enough now. I think it used to be a time when you could talk about home court advantage. I'm not real sure that exists as much as it used to be. If you don't come with it every day, you can have your hat handed to you, and people can show you where your own door is. Okay. This was our time to have a Big Ten challenge at home. It was our time for Florida to return the game here. And we're in the middle of a pandemic. So, I must say that it just kind of worked out in our favor this particular year, if there's a such thing. We were supposed to play Central Florida in the Orange Bowl Classic. And so we both, when that was canceled, I just felt that it made sense for us not to inconvenience ourselves by trying to run around and play someone else. We're going to play here this year. And I think we're going back to the Orange Bowl Classic. I think hopefully next year, then we return the game to his place. You know, I've known him for a while, so we kind of worked out something that we thought would be good for both of us, and that's the way that worked out. And we already had Gardner Webb, because I think that guy's from Tallahassee, the head coach there, so he wanted to come back home, and we always played North Florida, so those games kind of worked. I didn't have anything to do with the Georgia Tech game, but I guess it was their time to come here. We played them twice this year, so we was gonna play them. And with the new addition of 20 games, you have to play some conference games in December. And our first game at home would be Georgia Tech conference run. Yeah. Now, last year, I want to remind you that our first game was on the road. Even though I like to forget about it, I can't, because we got smacked. So, you know, I'm not. Am I feeling guilty because we playing at home first? Absolutely not. Last year, the table was turned, and you saw what happened. So, don't try to put me on a guilt trip, okay?
All right, everyone good with Coach?
I got one more.
Okay, Antoine?
Just talk about Malik Osborne for a minute, and just what you've seen with him.
Well, last year, Malik, we had two new guys coming to our program, Dominic and Boston. And so Malik we played him a lot at the 5, but Malik's strength is his jump shooting ability. He's a really, really good jump shooter. That he really showed flashes of it last year, but he didn't really show an awful lot of it. But it was good because while Boston was making an adjustment and Dominic was learning, we had the luxury of playing what you call 2 4s, one playing the 5, and if there's a such thing. And we defensively, we were able to switch 1 through 5. It kind of gave us a little, gave us a different look with him playing the 5 than Dominic and Boston. We have the luxury of playing him at both spots again this year. He's been around, and I'm sure we'll utilize it that way. Sometimes during the course of the games, we play small. Sometimes we play big. We have the luxury of him being a versatile guy that can play both positions. He along with all exceptions, especially those 4 juniors, Gray, Malik, Wyatt, and Polite. I think they all have improved, which has been a very pleasant surprise from my standpoint. And so, and I think Malik has been right with them in terms of improving his ball handling and passing. And it's just his rebounding and his defense. I think he's made as much progress as anybody on the team. And I'm expecting a big year from him. If he comes and shows the improvement that I think he's going to show, it's going to make a huge difference with our team. I'm excited about the progress he's made and what I think is going to be a guy making a major contribution to our team.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, thank you, Coach.